And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Catan Compact Edition Traveler. Now this is based on the game Catan, which maybe you know as Settlers of Catan. This is a small version that you can carry around. You can play this on an airplane tray maybe, although that's might be a little bit small for the area. You'll have to kind of look at this and tell me what you think. I haven't actually tried it on an airplane, but it can fit in very small places. So I'm not actually going to explain the rules for the game Catan because I'm assuming you know them. If you don't know them, I wouldn't recommend buying this as your first one unless you really need a small game. But I'm going to just basically, this is just showing you how it all fits together, how it looks, and then you can decide. Okay, so the game comes in this box here with the handle on it, so you can carry it around. I would actually keep it in the box if much possible, just because it has that handle. You can open up the side like this. This is starting to feel like an unboxing here. And then the plastic case here, which when you slide this open, opens up, and there is essentially the game. The rules, usually I'm opposed to rules being in weird shapes, but since this does fit in the game, I'm actually not opposed to it, and it's actually pretty easy to hold. The game itself, you're going to put together the pieces, and you'll notice that while the pieces aren't going to be so random that you're always going to get something completely different, it still gives you enough ways to be random in some sense. So I can stick that one there, for example, and this one here, and then I can put this over, actually put that there, sorry, here, and like that. And there we go. A random setup board. And one of the pieces fits in this notch. All these pieces have the ability to fit in these notches, and since two of them are in the notches, you can see that holds them pretty firmly. Now, on the side here are different drawers. On this drawer, we have the robber who, it's okay, little pawn. And then we have in here the different towns and roads, and you can see here that roads are going to be placed like this between the different dots, which is pretty easy and convenient. You can place these in between them, so they fit very nicely in there. The ones with the dots on top are the cities. The ones without the dots are regular towns. And I know I just did an illegal placement. Hang on one second. There we go. So pretty easy. So we have the blue and the orange pieces that come out of this drawer. Out of this drawer, we have the red and the white pieces. And again, these are easy enough to tell apart on the board, and they really fit in easily. And more importantly than easily, let's close these drawers for a moment, they don't fall out very easily. Okay, now the board obviously fell over there, but notice that the pieces did not come out. Now you should not be turning your game upside down, but I was pretty impressed with basically how this all fit together like that. Let me get these pieces back in here. Like this, and I like how, because they're punching into the board itself, and honestly, the more pieces that you have holding down, you actually are holding the board in place too. Once this piece is here, it's going to be holding the board in place too. Now you'll notice this piece here, this is the dice. Now on one hand, this drives me nuts because I actually want to roll dice, and this you're just shaking them up, and you'll notice that if I shake it like this, it doesn't work, but if I turn it upside down and shake it, I'll get different numbers. There's a 7, there's a 6, there's a 4. But this does keep the dice from falling around and losing them. So if you're playing this, like let's say on an airplane or something, the dice, you won't drop them or anything. And you have these drawers that you can pull out. And these drawers are a little funky, I should mention. You have to get used to them. You can see even how it slides in like this, but once it comes out, you turn it like this to get the full effect. So there's that drawer. There's also two more drawers over here. Each of these drawers has the cards for the game. Now these are mini cards. However, you'll notice the cards are held in place with clips, although they come out very easily. If you don't like mini cards, well, you probably should be playing this game anyway. They feel like the cards that they would make for a dollhouse. Here's the largest army and the longest road and the reference cards, which are pretty small. And then we have the trade cards. And you can see that we have these different resources, and there's the development cards. Where's the development cards? Here. And they're easy enough to read. That one's 1 victory point, blah, blah, blah. You don't really need to know anything else once you know the rules of Catan. So that's basically the components for the game. It does not take a long time to put away, and it's very compact, and I've shaken it around inside the box, and nothing falls out once it's all closed up. If you're wondering what these trade cards are, there's a special set of rules in the rule book for 2 players, and you essentially have a dummy player, and you can use those trade cards to do special actions. But the rules basically are the regular rules for Catan, and even though Catan is split into the Almanac, here it's all one book, which again works for this game. Now, this is one of those things where I'm kind of skeptical. When I was a kid, I had like little magnetic chess sets and little different board games that were magnetic and stuff, and it was like, these are not that great. I still remember fondly playing chess against an adult who was driving in a car against me, and I'm, in retrospect, probably a really bad idea. But this is really well put together. You know, I've gotten on Mayfair in the past for the quality of many of their games. It's just really not the best. But this, I thought, was really good quality. The drawers, the whole packaging, the pieces themselves, it's tiny, but you can read it. I mean, granted, if you have a hard time with tiny things, you might want to stay away from this. But it compacted it to a nice small package, easy to carry, easy to open and set up, and still plays like full-out Catan. Now, granted, I would never play this over the basic game. If I have a big table and a space to set up and play that, I'm playing the main game. However, this is not a bad thing. This is, I think, this would be what I think all these small portable games need to aspire to be. If you are a company and you have a bigger game and you want to make it to a smaller one, then take a look at this, because the packaging, the rules, the cards, the pieces, it's done so it doesn't fall over the place and still retains pretty much the entire game inside it. So for that, I got to give this one some love here. Very cool. The Catan Compact Edition Traveler. Dice Tower Judgment approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!